I've got a bit of attention now, please. Ready to move on. Just this is the last topic. I've got a feeling that we're finishing early, but we'll just see. Okay, so next topic on the list of things I've got was getting database records to display the description field in the brief results. And then after I've done that, I'll be talking about displaying different icons for different material types in the new UI. So this one is actually a really, really weird one when I saw it on the agenda.
Yeah.
Why?
Why? Okay, do you want to say why?
No. Somebody topical question. Okay, so this was actually quite a challenge to actually find somewhere where I could get some databases. Okay, so basically what happens at the moment is you don't have descriptions at the moment. So yes, you just get the titles, okay, basically. And someone said this morning they'd stripped out the dates from their database. Well, you don't even have dates now either. So now it's stripped down to basically title and publisher. I will actually say all these screenshots are actually using MetaLib. But you can actually assume you've got people put databases in Alma. Okay, so actually I know there's some examples of customers with databases in Alma, and so it's kind of similar things. But obviously the ones I came up with yesterday weren't as developed as this, so this is easier to set up. Okay, so with our description, you just get basic data. So obviously, description is not normally displayed in the brief results. So the rhetorical question I will ask again is why. And this is why I don't think you should do it. Is that the description can be quite lengthy, extremely lengthy in the cases we're going to look at here. So you have to think carefully before you decide what to do. Okay, so I'm going to come up with some tips. Okay. I haven't completely tested them, but these are some tips on for you to do some further exploration with. Okay, so normalization is basically there is normalization as display description really populated. So we sort of have to think about those. Don't use this though, okay? So this is because it's going to be huge. And fill up your brief doesn't look really ugly. And the other reason for this is, the reason for not using this description is that if you are familiar with the view configuration wizard, if you choose to display a field, you're displaying it for absolutely everything of that in your Primo, okay? So if you choose to display a description, you're going to be getting this for all your Alma records as well, and also Primo Central. So you're not going to be, you're going way beyond what you were planning. So that's why I said don't use a display description field. So you actually get 50 local display fields, which is plenty, and you're going to be getting more, I believe. First thing to say is don't copy relay description as is, okay? Because you're going to end up with exactly the same mess as you would if you displayed the description. You can be quite selective with what you display, especially if your records are coming from Alma. So your records in Alma, if your database records are in Alma, you're dealing with the same normalization rule set for databases as you are with your books and your journals. So you've got to be really picky on how you condition this local display field. So one of the rules you can actually, another way is, for example, so if you've got the description field for, well, this is an example taken from MetaLib. Is the MetaLib description field is actually the 520 mark field. So we can actually. So this will work for an Alma as well, this display type. Check that your display type is database. Okay, so exactly the same as Stephen showed us this morning with the what you did with the dates, using the PNX display field. We're using exactly the same kind of thing here. We've actually identified what is a database elsewhere. Let's just use that definition of what a database is.
Can I just ask why, if you've got that condition in where you've got 20 databases, why can't you then use the display description?
Because, I don't know, you might be using it for other purposes in Armour. I don't know, possibly. I mean,
so if you're only looking at databases, we only catalog databases with a short enough kind of description.
Yeah. You haven't seen what's coming.
Right, you get it now, okay.
Trust me, we've got those customer we've got who basically bought Metalib not for its meta searching functionality, but because of its AZ in of database listing capabilities. And believe me, they went to board on the descriptions. Yeah. Okay. So I mean, this is the things you can actually do. They take it to a first occurrence. They actually split things with double hash marks. There's one of the things you might consider is looking at other different transformations as well. So you can basically say take the first, take it to the first occurrence of a full stop or something. So you can actually maybe take the first sentence of the description. Basically, you can use this to, if you've got a huge description field, basically use this to limit how much you're displaying. Or if you're familiar with the snippet functionality, like we just had like snippets, basically could end abruptly in the middle of a sentence. So we could actually say take the first X number of characters, so something like that. Because you tend to have the most useful things at the beginning of descriptions anyway. Okay, so one of the things you do is basically, having created a normalization rule, is to basically, there's this code table front-end display fields. So we basically, as I said, we just populated the LVS01, and we just basically need to change its label to brief description. But to be perfectly honest, we don't actually even have to bother doing that. Because we are only displaying some brief results, we don't even need a code table because we're not going to be displaying the main brief description. But this just, it's habit, okay? And you might think, oh, actually prefer this description to go in the full display at some point as well. So this isn't mandatory, but it's something that it's worth remembering. Anytime you create a local display field, I think it's always worth having a name for it as well, because also you might not be around your institution forever. Someone coming into your job might wonder, what is this local display field for? Okay, so we have, and I'll show you this in a second. And the brief view tile is basically you can go to a third line of brief results, and this is actually the reason why I quite like changing the coding. Is we now have a field to create into here, a brief description field. Okay, so this was the result. Okay, so as you can see, obviously we need to do more work on cutting down the chat, but yeah. So this is basically your idea was how you get a description. Okay, so as I said, there's much more transformations you can do. Cut. You probably only want like the first. I want to only take it up to about there. I don't know how many characters that would be. That would be my recommendation. Because some of these, I mean, I don't know how many of you are still using Metalib or harvesting Metalib anymore. I don't think many at all. Some of these descriptions work out of the box in Metalib quite long as well. But this customer I took this one, they went to town and did more. Okay, so we're going to have a quick look at that so you can actually see how this. Okay, so let's go into the normalization rules. So basically, it was display field. Okay, so when you go into normalization rules, by default it only shows populated ones. So you go to display empty PNX fields. We can search in here for LDS0. So we can basically, if this comes down to here, we can actually see there's a display LDS01. So actually, just going to create this again. So creating the rule. So we can basically, I always go to the advanced options here as well. Mark 520. I mean, as you said, it might not be necessary to put this. So PNX display type match current. Good to check that string exists. Database. So this is mainly sort of just only referring to databases, and we can say there's other things in here. We can take first subfields, take first words, or we can actually take until first occurrence, and then you can actually put in different things here like full stop, exclamation marks, and so on. So this would take like basically the first sentence. This would probably be a slightly better way of doing it. Or there's if you instead of using regexes, you can actually use regexes and build up different things. Okay, so that basically the rule is quite a simple one. Okay, so after you've done that, you can go and test that out. And test. Shall we just if I can find.
That's a quick question when you're on that page. Is it possible to get rid of anything in a particular rule? So, say that example, after you've done it, you want to just get rid of it. Is it possible to do that?
Get rid of the whole rule?
The whole rule? So
in one go?
LDS or 5, for example, if you didn't need it anymore?
No, all you have to do, you just have to get through each
right.
each part.
Right, yeah.
Yeah, there's no way of getting rid of the whole field.
Yeah, no, that's fine. Yeah.
Okay, so I need to find this is where it's quite useful to have. I was using my own laptop. I've got bookmark list to display source record. And if you're actually using the new user interface, I encourage you to have the new source record as well, because that's quite useful.
Yeah, that's really useful actually.
Okay, so we can put PNX-VR we can actually use here. So are you familiar with the PNX-VR? Okay, so this is, we can actually view the PNX list. When we compare it to the source record, so one of the things you can actually do is right click into the, one of these and view the frame source. Okay, so this gives you the full XML. Actually, this one is probably not. So what we're going to do is we're going to edit this record. Thank you. Okay, yeah, so we'll see, you can save and test and see how that looks. Okay, so obviously that's not a good transformation, that didn't work.
Is it not because you're looking at the type database from the VNX record?
Could well be, yes.
Very good.
That's a very... okay, so that's a very good... So sometimes it is worth doing a test on the entire record. So I hate these test records. This is just like 520.
The hottest June day, 41 years, my computer system.
It feels it, I can tell you. Okay, where we can just choose a different test record. Okay, yeah, so we, this one actually, this test record already has a 520, so we'll leave it to that. What we're hoping for is to basically just end up with this first full stop. So there's always something wrong with these out-of-the-box demo records. Okay. This isn't quite how I anticipated demoing this. Okay, so the main thing is that anyway, I could show you, go back to our, we can actually see, I mean, even the example I did, just taking the 520A and you can actually see how it's appearing. So, as I said, this is the kind of stuff you want to sort of cut right down on. So to get this into the front end, which is actually far more important, was in the user configuration wizard. Was in the, you go right through to the tile list and go to the brief display and brief results. Because out of the box you just get first line of brief results, second line of brief results. And it's, I did yesterday for this was to add a third line and just chose from this list. So I can get it done. Okay, so this is how it would appear in the out of the box. So you just need to choose your field, and it should be at the bottom now, yes, because I deleted it. And just click on create. And if that's the only thing you want on that third line, you just leave it. But if you want to have something else on there, you just put a delimiter in there. So some sites like also putting in the brief description the addition field as well. So we just save and continue. And just once that deploy is done, it should come into the front end. So as soon as the user starts the next session, that change will be in place. So I'll just actually quickly show you how that looks in the new interface. So it's a similar thing as in the classic interface. Okay. So that's a summary of the how to add a database description. It's easy to add it, but you have to be careful what you choose and how much to display. So now, how many of you actually have catalogued databases in Alma?
There was a massive debate in kind of Met. There was so crestfallen when we realised that databases wouldn't come in.
And I think by the time you won't like it,
databases were included, so we've got databases you need to unsuppress each of in kind of Met. You'd have to unsuppress each of them. They would be so pleased that this is kind of...
Yeah, I think the main thing is the migration to Alma. The day-to-day databases aren't. And so in your existing library catalogue, they won't be included in your Alma migration, but you can actually add them in, or load them in. I think.
We need to import from Merlin, I think.
Yeah.
Just demand to import from Merlin.
So yeah, so that's something for you to go practicing. So any questions about databases description?